Welcome back to the channel, fellow adventurers. In part 2, we witnessed Jin-Woo and his army of shadows and monsters face overwhelming odds. The hidden monarch levels pushed them to their limits, and just when victory seemed possible, a colossal figure appeared, an enemy far stronger and more terrifying than anything they had ever faced. Shadows twisted, monsters braced, and the city trembled under its unimaginable power. Jin-Woo stood at the center, unwavering, ready to endure, survive, and rise above the storm. But even the Shadow Monarch knew this battle would test him like never before. Today, in part 3, the storm intensifies. We will see the true power of this new threat, the limits of Jin-Woo's army, and the shocking twists that could change the fate of everyone on the battlefield. So, take a deep breath, and let's dive into this epic continuation. This is part 3. The true storm begins. The plaza lay in ruins. Smoke and dust choked the air, twisting in the light of fires that burned from the previous battles. Shadows coiled violently around Jin-Woo, his army of monsters battered but unbroken. And above them all, the colossal figure hovered, a presence that radiated unimaginable power, warping reality with every movement. Haeun's voice trembled, yet carried determination. Jin-Woo, it's more powerful than anything we've faced. Can we really survive this? Jin-Woo's eyes narrowed, a calm, calculating aura emanating from him. We survive. Shadows, monsters, brace yourselves. Every strike counts. Every defense must hold. We endure, we rise, and we fight. That is our path. Beru darted, antennae flicking rapidly. Energy readings are off the charts. This entity is beyond even the hidden monarch levels. Jin-Woo, if we do not act strategically, the entire army could be wiped out. Then we act, Jin-Woo replied calmly, shadows coiling tighter around him. Shadows, form layers. Monsters, flank and intercept. Every move is precision. Protect the injured, strike the openings, and endure. The colossal figure descended slowly, each step sending shockwaves that cracked the ground beneath. Its eyes glowed with ancient, incomprehensible power. Jin-Woo, Shadow Monarch, you think you can withstand me? Witness your limits. Jin-Woo's shadow army moved as one, twisting and striking with precision. Shadows' lances, chains, and whips intercepted strikes, while monsters leapt, clawed, and shielded the injured. The battle had begun in earnest. Haeun fired arrows from the edge of the battlefield, striking at openings while dodging falling debris. We fight together, no matter what. Jin-Woo's gaze swept over the battlefield. Together. Shadows, monsters, endure, strike, protect. Every second counts. Hesitation is death. The colossal figure unleashed a massive energy wave, sweeping across the plaza. Shadows twisted violently to intercept, monsters collided with the force, and the ground cracked beneath the impact. The hidden monarch levels that remained joined in, attacking in perfect coordination, adding to the chaos. Beru's voice was tense, antennae twitching rapidly. They are coordinated, more than ever before. Jin-Woo, the enemy adapts with every strike we make. Jin-Woo's jaw tightened. Then we escalate. Shadows, divide, envelop, and strike. Monsters, intercept, flank, and protect. Every movement must be flawless. Energy collided violently. The colossal figure struck again, faster, stronger, and more precise than before. Shadows lashed, monsters braced, and Jin-Woo moved with lethal grace, coordinating every strike and defense simultaneously. Haeun's voice trembled with awe. Jin-Woo, your strategy, it's incredible. The army, it's holding together. But even as they held the line, Jin-Woo sensed something else, something darker, hidden within the colossal figure. It was intelligent, calculating, not just powerful. Shadows, monsters, focus. There's more to this enemy than raw strength. Watch patterns, anticipate moves, and strike decisively. The colossal figure's gaze fell upon Jin-Woo directly, and the air thickened with pressure. So, The Shadow Monarch stands against me. Let us see if your resolve is as strong as your army's loyalty. Jin-Woo's eyes glowed, shadows coiling like living weapons. We endure. We survive. And we rise above the storm. The plaza shook violently as the colossal figure struck again, a wave of energy that twisted shadows and sent monsters tumbling. But Jin-Woo's army held firm. Shadows intercepted, monsters countered, and Beru guided the injured to safety with unmatched precision. Heian gritted her teeth, determination shining in her eyes. We fight. Together. No matter what. Jin-Woo's shadow army surged forward in a coordinated strike. Shadow's lances pierced openings, chains ensnared attacks, and monsters flanked with precision. The colossal figure staggered slightly, surprise flickering across its eyes. Good. Jin-Woo whispered, voice calm and resolute. Now, endure, strike, protect. This battle is ours to shape. Energy waves collided, the ground shook violently, and the city trembled as the true storm of Part 3 unfolded. Shadows twisted, monsters roared, and Jin-Woo's army fought as one, battered, injured, but unbroken. And at the center of it all, Jin-Woo's eyes glowed with unwavering determination. Number matter the challenge, we survive. We endure. And we rise above the storm. The air was thick with energy, smoke, and the roar of battle. Shadows twisted violently around Jin-Woo, lashing at every attack from the colossal figure and the remaining hidden Monarch-levels. Monsters leapt, flanked, and intercepted, while debris and energy waves threatened to crush them all. Heian's voice trembled, a mixture of fear and determination. Jin-Woo, the army, it's taking heavy damage. How much longer can we hold? Jin-Woo's eyes glowed, calculating. We hold because we must. Shadows, monsters, every move counts. Protect the injured, counterattack, endure. Hesitation is death. Beru darted between monsters and shadows, antennae flashing. They're relentless. Each strike they throw is calculated to exploit our weakest points. Jin-Woo, we need a decisive move. Jin-Woo's gaze hardened. Then we create the opportunity. Shadows, form layers of defense. Monsters, flank and intercept. Every strike must count. Sacrifice where necessary, protect where possible. This battle will define us. The colossal figure swung its massive arm, sending a shockwave that shattered the plaza. Monsters and shadows alike were thrown into the air. Jin-Woo reacted instantly, coiling shadows into protective barriers and sending his strongest monsters to intercept the shockwave. Heian cried out as a group of monsters were thrown against a crumbling building. We can't lose them, not now. Then we won't, Jin-Woo said firmly, shadows lashing out to stabilize the injured monsters midair. Every life counts. Protect them. Fight as one. The hidden Monarch-levels pressed forward, sensing an opening. Jin-Woo's army was battered, but he was ready. Shadows twisted into spears and whips, striking at key joints of the enemy while monsters intercepted with precision. The battlefield was a whirlwind of motion, debris, and energy. Beru darted beside Jin-Woo, antennae twitching. Jin-Woo, we can push them back, but some monsters will be lost if we continue this frontal assault. Jin-Woo's eyes narrowed, resolve hardening. Then we create the sacrifice that will save the rest. Shadows, divide, envelop, and strike. Monsters, flank, intercept, and endure. Every movement is calculated. Every strike is life or death. A massive explosion erupted as a group of monsters intercepted a devastating energy strike from the colossal figure. Several fell, injured or worse, but their sacrifice allowed shadows and other monsters to counterattack. Jin-Woo's army began to gain ground, slowly, methodically. Heian gasped, tears in her eyes. They saved the others. Jin-Woo, we can do this. Jin-Woo's shadow form surged, glowing with unyielding power. Good. Shadows, monsters, press the advantage. Protect, strike, endure. This is our battle, and we define it. The colossal figure's eyes narrowed, sensing the shift. So, the Shadow Monarch adapts, clever. But can you withstand the next wave? Jin-Woo's lips curved slightly. Then we prepare. Shadows, monsters, focus. Protect the weak, strike decisively, anticipate everything. We rise above the storm. Energy waves collided violently as the battle escalated. Shadows twisted into chains, whips, and blades, intercepting attacks with precision. Monsters leapt, clawed, and blocked, forming a moving wall that protected the injured and exposed enemy weak points. Heian fired arrows from a vantage point, striking at openings created by Jin-Woo's coordinated strikes. Together, we can survive, we can win. But the colossal figure's power was relentless. Each strike, each energy pulse, forced Jin-Woo and his army to adapt. Injuries mounted, and fatigue threatened to break their resolve. Yet, Jin-Woo remained calm, calculating, commanding every move. Number matter the challenge, Jin-Woo whispered, voice steady and unwavering. We endure. We survive. And we rise above the storm. The battlefield shook violently. Shadows and monsters pressed forward, the colossal figure recoiling slightly under the coordinated strikes. Jin-Woo's tactical brilliance was turning the tide, but the cost was high. Some monsters had fallen, shadows were depleted, and the city was in ruins. Heian's voice rang out, filled with determination. We fight on. For every fallen comrade, for Jin-Woo, we endure. Jin-Woo's eyes glowed with unyielding resolve. Then we strike. Shadows, monsters, endure, protect, strike. The storm is not over, and neither are we. The true escalation of Part 3 had begun. Sacrifice, strategy, and sheer willpower collided in a battlefield where survival was the only victory. The battlefield was chaos incarnate. Smoke and debris swirled violently, punctuated by explosions of energy and the roars of monsters. Shadows whipped and coiled around Jin-Woo, intercepting attacks with surgical precision, while the remaining monsters flanked and protected each other. Yet the colossal figure loomed above, radiating raw, overwhelming power. Heian's voice cut through the storm, tense but determined. Jin-Woo, we've held as long as we can. Their attacks, they keep coming, stronger than before. Jin-Woo's eyes glowed, calm yet resolute. Then we evolve. Shadows, monsters, listen to me. Every strike, every block, every move must be perfect. Protect the weak, strike the openings, endure, and survive. This is our moment. Beru darted beside him, antennae flicking frantically. Jin-Woo, some monsters are exhausted. The enemy's energy output is beyond comprehension. We can hold, but we need something more, something decisive. Jin-Woo's jaw tightened. Then it's time to unleash it. Shadows, transform, elevate, expand. Today, we strike as one, not just to survive, but to dominate. The shadows around him writhed violently, coiling like serpents, fusing into dark, jagged forms that radiated immense energy. Monsters sensed the surge, their resolve strengthened, moving with perfect coordination. Heian gasped. Jin-Woo, what are you doing? Using everything I've learned. Every battle, every sacrifice, every shadow, now becomes one force, Jin-Woo said, voice steady and commanding. Beru, guide them. Every move counts. The colossal figure's eyes narrowed, sensing the shift. So, the Shadow Monarch decides to unleash his full potential, clever. But can you withstand me now? Jin-Woo's lips curved slightly. We endure. We survive. And we rise above the storm. Suddenly, the shadows erupted outward, forming massive blades, whips, and tendrils that struck with incredible speed. Monsters surged forward, coordinated with perfect precision. The battlefield erupted in a symphony of strikes, defense, and movement, each action perfectly calculated. Heian's eyes widened. It's incredible, the shadows, the monsters, they're moving as one. The colossal figure staggered slightly, surprised by the precision and scale of the attack. Energy waves collided violently, shaking the city and sending debris flying. Jin-Woo's army pressed the advantage, exploiting openings and intercepting attacks with meticulous timing. Beru darted between the soldiers and shadows, antennae glowing. We're gaining ground, Jin-Woo. The enemy, it's faltering under the combined assault. Jin-Woo's gaze swept the battlefield, calculating every strike. Good, now, the final push. Shadows, monsters, endure, protect, strike. Every second counts. This is our storm. The colossal figure roared, unleashing a massive energy strike aimed at the center of Jin-Woo's formation. Shadows twisted violently, intercepting the attack, while monsters leapt to shield the injured. The force of the strike sent shockwaves across the city, but Jin-Woo's coordination held. Heian gasped. We're holding it. Jin-Woo, your strategy, it's working. It's more than strategy, Jin-Woo whispered, shadows coiling like living weapons. It's trust. Shadows, monsters, fight as one. Protect, endure, strike. This is our power. The colossal figure's surprise quickly turned into fury. Impossible, how can one human coordinate such force? Shadows, monsters, this cannot be. Jin-Woo's eyes glowed with unwavering determination. We endure. We survive. And we rise above the storm. With that, he surged forward, shadows forming massive, jagged wings that propelled him through the battlefield. Monsters followed, perfectly synchronized, moving with lethal precision. Each strike and block was executed flawlessly, pushing the colossal figure backward. Heian's voice rang out, filled with awe and hope. Jin-Woo, you've turned the tide. The enemy, it's faltering. Jin-Woo's jaw tightened, his gaze locked on the colossal figure. Good. But this is only the beginning. Shadows, monsters, prepare for the decisive strike. Everything we've endured, every sacrifice, comes to this moment. Energy collided, debris flew, and the city trembled under the power of the clash. Shadows twisted violently, monsters roared, and Jin-Woo's presence radiated dominance and strategy. The colossal figure stumbled, showing cracks in its overwhelming defense, but the battle was far from over. Number matter the challenge, we endure, we survive, and we rise above the storm. Jin-Woo shouted, shadows lashing outward like living extensions of his will. The battlefield fell into a tense pause for a heartbeat, both sides bracing for the next cataclysmic clash. And in that moment, Jin-Woo's true strategy, his ultimate power, and the fate of the city were about to collide in a storm of shadows, monsters, and sheer determination. The plaza shook violently. Smoke and dust hung thick in the air, mingling with flashes of shadow and bursts of energy. Jin-Woo's army of shadows and monsters moved like a single organism, striking with precision and defending with unwavering coordination. Yet above them, the colossal figure hovered, radiating an overwhelming presence that seemed to warp reality itself. Heian's voice trembled, but determination burned through it. Jin-Woo, their attacks, they're stronger than ever. Can we survive this final assault? Jin-Woo's eyes glowed, calm but resolute. We survive. Shadows, monsters, brace yourselves. Every strike, every defense, every movement, perfection. Protect, strike, endure. This is the final test. Beru's antennae flicked rapidly, scanning the battlefield. Energy levels are off the charts. The colossal figure, it's adapting to every move we make. Jin-Woo, we need something decisive now, or the army will break. Jin-Woo's shadow form rippled, coiling violently. Then we unleash the final strategy. Shadows, expand, intertwine, and dominate. Monsters, intercept, flank, protect. Every movement is calculated. Every strike is life or death. The colossal figure's eyes narrowed, sensing the shift. So, the Shadow Monarch prepares his ultimate move. Let us see if you can survive the storm I bring. Jin-Woo's lips curved slightly. We endure. We survive. And we rise above the storm. Shadows erupted outward, twisting into massive blades, whips, and tendrils that struck with incredible speed. Monsters surged forward, coordinated with perfect precision. The battlefield erupted into a symphony of destruction and defense. Heian's eyes widened in awe. It's incredible, they're moving as one. Shadows and monsters, unstoppable. The colossal figure staggered slightly under the combined assault. Jin-Woo's army pressed the advantage, intercepting attacks and striking openings with deadly precision. The city trembled, buildings crumbling under the massive energies unleashed. Beru darted beside Jin-Woo, antennae flicking rapidly. We're gaining ground. The enemy, it's faltering, but Jin-Woo, they're not finished yet. Be ready. Jin-Woo's gaze swept over the battlefield. Good. Shadows, monsters, prepare for the decisive strike. Protect the weak, intercept the strong, and strike the opening. This is our storm. The colossal figure's hands glowed with energy, preparing a devastating strike that could obliterate everything in its path. Jin-Woo's shadows coiled, monsters braced, and every ally readied themselves for the impact. Now, Jin-Woo whispered, shadows lashing outward with lethal precision. Endure. Strike. Protect. Survive. Rise. The strike collided with Jin-Woo's coordinated defense. Energy waves exploded across the plaza, sending debris and monsters flying. Shadows lashed violently, intercepting every attack, while monsters countered with unmatched loyalty and precision. Heian cried out as several monsters were injured. We can't lose now. Jin-Woo, hold them off. We endure. Jin-Woo shouted, shadows coiling around the injured and striking at openings. We survive. And we rise above the storm. The colossal figure's eyes narrowed, its expression a mix of surprise and fury. Impossible. One human, commanding such power, shadows and monsters, this cannot be. Jin-Woo's eyes glowed brighter, shadows coiling into jagged wings and massive blades. Then witness the true extent of our power. Shadows, monsters, unite. Protect, strike, endure. The battlefield erupted into chaos. Energy collided violently, debris flew, and the city trembled under the force of their clash. The colossal figure faltered slightly under the relentless combined assault. Jin-Woo pressed the advantage, exploiting openings with precise strikes and coordinating monsters with perfect timing. Heian's voice rang out, filled with awe and hope. Jin-Woo, the enemy, it's weakening. The army, it's turning the tide. Jin-Woo's jaw tightened. Good. But the storm is not over. Shadows, monsters, prepare for the final wave. Every sacrifice, every effort, every life, it all leads to this moment. Energy waves collided in a massive explosion, shaking the entire city. Shadows lashed, monsters roared, and Jin-Woo's army fought as one, battered, injured, but unbroken. The colossal figure's eyes blazed with fury, realizing the depth of Jin-Woo's coordination. You, Shadow Monarch, you may survive, but can you endure what comes next? Jin-Woo's eyes glowed, his aura radiating unyielding determination. We endure. We survive. And we rise above the storm. For a heartbeat, the battlefield fell silent. Dust, smoke, and energy swirled in the air. Jin-Woo stood at the center, shadows coiling violently, monsters ready at his side. The colossal figure loomed before them, staggering but unyielding. And then, from the horizon, a new energy pulse erupted. A force far stronger than the colossal figure's presence approached, shaking the city to its core. Heian's eyes widened in shock. Jin-Woo, what is that? Jin-Woo's jaw tightened. Something, even greater than this, is coming. Shadows, monsters, brace yourselves. This storm is far from over. The city trembled. Shadows lashed, monsters roared, and Jin-Woo's eyes glowed with unyielding resolve. The ultimate confrontation was escalating, and the true threat had yet to reveal itself. The air quivered with a presence far beyond the colossal figure that had dominated the battlefield. Energy rippled like a storm over the city, shaking debris and tossing monsters and shadows alike. Jin-Woo stood at the center, shadows coiling violently, his army battered but alert. Heian's voice trembled, a mix of fear and disbelief. Jin-Woo, what is that? It's overwhelming. Jin-Woo's gaze hardened, shadows rippling with anticipation. Focus. Shadows, monsters, we endure, we protect, we strike. This is no ordinary enemy. Prepare yourselves. Beru's antennae twitched frantically, scanning the approaching force. Energy readings, off the charts. This is unlike anything we've ever encountered. Jin-Woo, it's not just powerful, it's intelligent, tactical, and unstoppable. The colossal figure faltered, sensing the new presence. What is this? It growled, voice shaking slightly with uncertainty. Jin-Woo's lips curved slightly. The storm has only just begun. Shadows, monsters, brace yourselves. This is the true test of everything we've endured. From the horizon, the new energy coalesced into a towering figure, cloaked in darkness and radiating raw power that eclipsed even the colossal figure. Its form was vaguely humanoid but twisted, distorted, and overwhelming. Each step it took sent shockwaves through the battlefield, flattening debris and scattering energy waves in all directions. Heian's eyes widened, fear mixing with awe. Jin-Woo, that thing, it's unlike anything we've faced. Can we survive? We survive, Jin-Woo said firmly, shadows lashing violently, his aura radiating unyielding resolve. Shadows, monsters, every strike counts. Protect the weak, intercept the strong, endure, and rise above this storm. The colossal figure, once the apex threat, recoiled slightly under the new presence. Impossible, how can this exist? Jin-Woo's jaw tightened. Focus. Shadows, monsters, coordinate. Every movement, every strike, must be flawless. Hesitation is death. The new figure's eyes glowed with intelligence, assessing the battlefield with uncanny precision. Energy pulsed outward in waves, distorting the air and threatening to crush everything in its path. Jin-Woo's shadows twisted violently, forming massive blades, whips, and shields, intercepting the waves with perfect timing. Monsters leapt, flanked, and countered, following Jin-Woo's precise commands. Heian shouted, voice full of determination. We can't falter now. For every life lost, for Jin-Woo, we endure, we strike, we survive. Jin-Woo's eyes glowed brighter, his shadow army pulsating with energy. Exactly. Shadows, monsters, rise. Protect, endure, strike. This is our storm. The new figure advanced, each step sending shockwaves that shattered nearby buildings. The colossal figure tried to intercept, but its attacks were repelled effortlessly, its strength eclipsed by the new presence. Beru darted alongside Jin-Woo. Jin-Woo, we can't just overpower it. The energy, the intelligence, it's beyond us. We need a strategy, or the army will be annihilated. Jin-Woo's gaze swept over the battlefield, calculating. Then we adapt. Shadows, divide, strike, protect. Monsters, intercept, flank, and endure. Every movement is decisive. Every strike, life or death. The new threat unleashed a massive energy wave, larger and more destructive than anything before. Shadows twisted violently to intercept, monsters collided to block the force, and Jin-Woo moved with lethal precision, guiding his army and striking openings simultaneously. Heian gasped, struggling to maintain footing. It's impossible. How can one human command such force? Jin-Woo's voice cut through the chaos, calm and commanding. Because shadows and monsters endure, protect, and strike as one. Every life, every strike, every movement, we rise above the storm. The new figure paused, its glowing eyes fixed on Jin-Woo. So, the Shadow Monarch stands against me, clever, but can you endure what comes next? Jin-Woo's shadows surged violently, enveloping the battlefield. We endure. We survive. And we rise above the storm. The city trembled, debris flew, shadows lashed, and monsters roared. The ultimate confrontation had only just begun. And at that moment, the ground beneath the colossal figure cracked, signaling that even its overwhelming power might not be enough to survive the new threat. Heian's voice rang out, awe and tension mingling. Jin-Woo, what will you do? The new enemy, it's impossible. Jin-Woo's eyes glowed with unwavering resolve. Shadows, monsters, prepare for the storm. The final battle begins now. The air vibrated with tension. The colossal figure faltered, monsters braced, and Jin-Woo's shadows coiled violently around him. A silence fell for a heartbeat, then the new threat advanced, faster than the eye could follow, and the ultimate battle for survival, strategy, and dominance was about to erupt. The city trembled beneath the overwhelming energies that collided in a storm of shadows, monsters, and raw power. Jin-Woo stood at the center, shadows coiling like living weapons around him, every movement precise, calculated, and lethal. His army of monsters, battered but loyal, moved as one, responding to every command with perfect synchronicity. Heian's voice shook but rang with determination. Jin-Woo, we've never faced anything like this, can we survive? Jin-Woo's eyes glowed, calm and commanding. We survive. Shadows, monsters, every strike counts. Protect, intercept, endure. Hesitation is death. Focus, now more than ever. Beru darted beside him, antennae flicking furiously. Jin-Woo, the new threat, it's adapting faster than ever. If we don't act decisively, the army will be annihilated. Jin-Woo's jaw tightened. Then we unleash the final strategy. Shadows, transform, intertwine, dominate. Monsters, intercept, flank, protect. Every movement is decisive. Every strike, life or death. The new figure advanced, its presence radiating energy that warped the very air. With each step, shockwaves flattened debris, and the colossal figure struggled to maintain its position. Jin-Woo's shadows twisted violently, forming massive blades and shields, coiling around monsters and allies alike. Heian shouted, determination blazing. We fight. For every life lost, for Jin-Woo, we endure, strike, survive. Jin-Woo's gaze swept over the battlefield, calculating every strike. Shadows, monsters, protect, endure, strike. Every second counts. This is our storm. Energy waves collided violently as the new figure unleashed a cataclysmic attack. Shadows intercepted, monsters collided with precision, and Jin-Woo moved at impossible speed, striking openings and guiding his army. The ground quaked, buildings collapsed, and debris filled the air, yet the army held. Beru's antennae twitched frantically. Jin-Woo, some monsters are falling. The force, it's beyond comprehension. Then their sacrifice must count, Jin-Woo replied, voice calm and resolute. Shadows, envelop, protect, and strike. Monsters, intercept, flank, endure. Every life counts. Every move is decisive. Several monsters leapt into the path of devastating energy, absorbing the attack to protect Jin-Woo's strategic formation. Heian's eyes welled with tears. They sacrificed themselves, for the army, for Jin-Woo. Jin-Woo's shadow form surged violently, wings forming and lashing outward. Shadows, monsters, unite. Protect, strike, endure. This is the decisive moment. The colossal figure roared, attempting to retaliate, but the new threat moved faster, its energy waves striking with precision. Jin-Woo's army countered seamlessly, exploiting openings and intercepting attacks with deadly coordination. Heian gasped. It's working, the enemy, it's faltering. Jin-Woo's eyes glowed with unwavering resolve. Good. Shadows, monsters, now, the final strike. Protect the weak, intercept the strong, and strike the opening. Every sacrifice, every effort, comes to this moment. The shadows erupted outward in a coordinated strike, massive blades slicing through energy waves, while monsters flanked, struck, and protected the injured. The new figure staggered slightly, surprise flickering in its eyes. Beru darted rapidly. Jin-Woo, the enemy, it's weakening. But the energy it radiates, it's not over yet. Jin-Woo's jaw tightened. Then we endure. Shadows, monsters, every strike counts. Protect, intercept, strike. We survive. We rise above the storm. The air vibrated violently as the new figure unleashed one final, cataclysmic energy surge. Shadows twisted violently to intercept, monsters collided to block, and Jin-Woo moved with lethal precision, coordinating his army flawlessly. Heian's voice rang out, filled with awe. Jin-Woo, the army, it's holding. The new threat, it's staggering. The colossal figure, previously a threat in its own right, now faltered completely, unable to withstand the combination of Jin-Woo's shadows, monsters, and strategic precision. The battlefield fell into tense silence for a heartbeat. Jin-Woo's gaze locked on the new figure, shadows coiling violently, radiating immense power. Shadows, monsters, endure, protect, strike. Today, we define our fate. Energy collided, debris flew, and the city trembled under the final clash. Jin-Woo's shadows lashed, monsters roared, and the new figure staggered under the unrelenting assault. Heian's eyes filled with tears of awe. Jin-Woo, you did it, the enemy, it's faltering. Jin-Woo's voice rang out, calm, commanding, and resolute. We endure. We survive. And we rise above the storm. But just as the dust began to settle, a tremor pulsed through the city. A faint, ominous energy glimmered on the horizon. Jin-Woo's eyes narrowed, sensing an even greater force approaching. This storm is far from over, Jin-Woo whispered, his shadow army coiling protectively around him. Prepare yourselves, the true challenge has yet to arrive. The battlefield fell silent, tension lingering in the air. Jin-Woo's army, battered but unbroken, braced as the final shadow of the looming threat approached, promising that the story was far from finished. Wow, what a battle we've just witnessed. Shadows and monsters, fighting as one under Jin-Woo's command, facing overwhelming power, and sacrificing everything to survive. Heian, Beru, and all the monsters showed their unwavering loyalty and courage, protecting the weak and striking with precision. Every strike, every defense, every movement was a testament to the strength of Jin-Woo's leadership and the bond he shares with his army. Yet, even as the colossal figure fell, a new, far greater threat has appeared on the horizon. A force more powerful, more intelligent, and more destructive than anything Jin-Woo and his army have faced before. This battle is far from over, and the storm that awaits will test our Shadow Monarch like never before. If you enjoyed this epic part of the story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss part 4. And leave a comment below letting us know, what do you think will happen next? In the next part, we'll witness Jin-Woo confronting this unimaginable power, facing impossible choices, and testing the very limits of his shadows and monsters. The true storm is coming, and nothing will ever be the same. Stay tuned, the epic journey continues.